Sharks visit our shores every summer. Now, some are fairly easy to spot and not too tricky to film. But other, smaller shark species come in big numbers too, and they can be really tough to catch on camera. Kinsale is a mecca for anglers. I'm teaming up with a local skipper, Butch Roberts, in the hope of filming blue sharks. Now, thousands of blues are still caught and butchered for their fins in the Atlantic every year. But thankfully around here, anglers catch, tag and release them in what must be one of the biggest projects of its kind in the world.
There's stuff in the water. Look at the seal here, just with its head.
Ah, yeah. Having a look at this.
Yeah.
Lovely spot for fishing. I think it's going to be a changeable day, though.
I think so. It looks as though there's a bit of a breeze there somewhere.
Sun and showers. What's the idea of the mackerel, Butch?
Well, we're going to use them for bait, and we also use them for rubby-dubby, chop up. But a bit of fresh mackerel is always an ideal bait. The problem is outside at the moment, they're very scattered, and they're not that easy to find. We have some frozen stuff, but...
So you're making the excuses already?
No, stop.
How many years have you been fishing around here?
I started here in '85 with my first boat, so I think it's around 27 years now.
I hope you're better shark fisherman than mackerel fisherman, lads.
Well, it looks like the mackerel are thin on the ground today. It's just as well Butch came prepared. Now, he's originally from South Africa, and that's where he learned his skippering skills. But now he knows the Cork coast as well as anyone. It's his job to put anglers like Paul Dean in just the right spot. At this time of year, the blue sharks are going to be found further out to sea.
We start off in the beginning of the season when mackerel shoals are still well off. We go out about 11.5 miles, you can say, south of the lighthouse, out there to the Lusitania in that area. And we get a good result out there.
This area has produced lots of sharks recently, so hopefully we'll have a bit of luck today.
So, Butch, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Well, I'm going to get a bag of rubby-dubby over the side so we can set up our trail.
A trail which hopefully the sharks will swim through,
right.
pick up and follow.
That's right. They'll come into this corridor and they'll follow it up to the boat.
In theory. If you don't mind me saying, your boat doesn't smell too good.
And rubby-dubby is a bit radioactive. I want to lose my fingernails.
This is Butch's famous rubby-dubby.
Be careful. You won't be allowed home if you get involved with this. So it just dips in and out and it leaves a trail.
Irresistible, I'd have said.
Irresistible. Oh, I can get rid of these gloves now. For a while.
Lovely. Smell. Seriously bad, because Butch has had these fish sort of fermenting for several days. So the whole boat stinks, which is the idea, of course. And so hopefully, Butch will manage to catch a shark and we'll manage to get in the water and film them.
Now, once the base is being prepared, it's important that it's put right into the middle of the rubby-dubby. A balloon is used to keep it suspended at just the right level so it doesn't sink to the seabed.
So we just leave it open spool at this stage with just the ratchet on. When it goes off, we just let the shark run. And then once he's run a bit, you just engage the drag, wind until it lines as tight as possible, and then strike as hard as you can. So if the shark takes off, it'll be a prolonged...
Straight out of Jaws.
Yeah.
It's slight bit of movement.
Yeah, tick,
and
tick,
it's
and then
suddenly,
yeah.
bang.
You see, because what'll happen is if we start drifting fast, the wave movement will take a bit now and again, but it won't be a prolonged action.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
So that's how we know we've got something busy there.
Common dolphins, gannets, fin whales, but no sign of a shark.
Must be the start of the herring season now.
It's got to be.
That's what they call the fin whales further along the coast anyways, herring hogs, huh?
Yes. It's a whale of a tail.
It might be the only tale we have to tell here
I
today.
know, man. I'm going to take up golf if we don't get one soon.
time to test the underwater camera, just in case a shark does turn up. Now, maybe I've seen too many movies, but it's sort of an odd feeling to be swimming around in an oily slick that's supposed to attract sharks.
Are you all right there in the water?
I got another snorkel in there if you want to come in with me.
No, I'm allergic to water. I don't even have it in my whiskey.
Visibility's not great, but if there's a shark within 100 miles, they've got such an extraordinary sense of smell, sense of taste, that surely they'll be attracted to this. This really stinks.
I've got it. Yeah, grand.
A rubby-dubby, Butch.
It's good, isn't it?
I swallowed some of it.
I'll make you a cup of coffee and you won't taste it then.
Oh, I tell you. Oh, dear, that feels good. So, Butch, how do the tags work?
Right, these are the tags we're issued with. On one side there's a number, and on the other side it's the address, who to contact.
Fisheries Board, Ireland Reward.
That's right. Most of those tags would have been returned by commercial fishermen, but it's the recreational anglers in Ireland that have tagged them, and they'll send that back to Central Fisheries and they'll get a reward. And that way they can track them. This is a pamphlet showing where all the sharks have been caught all over the world, anywhere from Newfoundland, the Gulf of Mexico, South America, right up into the Med, and it gives you all the information.
Tell me, did anyone ever find any of the sharks that you tagged?
Most of them were caught down the Azores by Spanish longliners. But the best one was about 5 years ago. One of the sharks was caught in Newfoundland, and it had travelled that far. And I'm sure I'd only tagged it 18 months before. Wow. So he'd done a bit of travelling, that old shark. He's trying to get away from me, I suppose. that was impressive. I was well impressed with that. But it's fascinating to think they travel all this way, and they're a beautiful creature. And the anglers get a buzz out of catching them. It's nice. It's something different.
So the potential for this sort of recreational fishing around here is...
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's one of the best areas in Europe. There's no doubt about it. You can speak to all the anglers. I mean, the variety and the quantity of fish. It's marvellous, absolutely. You wouldn't see the likes of it.
It'd be interesting to see that today. Never seen a blue shark in Irish waters.
Well, up to now they've been plentiful, but it's anybody's guess whether we get one.
Paul's keen anyway.
No, he's lucky. He might get a couple. Who knows?
I'm feeling optimistic, Butch. Everyone's been telling me you're the man to find sharks with, so we'll have to see.
That.
Your reputation's on the line.
What'll be will be. We'll try anyway. We'll do our best.
I'm gonna have to wash my hands.
All right.
Stink.
Got one.
Once you're in, pass it this
Time for me to get in the water. Try and avoid getting caught up in that line.
I don't know. I'd rather him than me. They're obviously not man-eaters, but they might just take a bite out of you just to test you.
Looks to be a reasonable size, but it's hard to tell.
He might run when he sees the boat. I think he's a big fish because he went deep straight away.
Bit of a struggle. Oh, look at that. To be honest, I'd prefer not to see them at the end of a hook. What a creature, what a beauty.
Watch it. Paul, if you just can grab the hook extractor there, the tagger and the tape measure, and we can get his measurements and get the hook out of this fella.
Now, the aim of the game is to get her unhooked and tagged as quickly as possible, because the less time she spends out of the water, the better.
About 30. See, once we've got his measurement, we can...
It's so good to know that these days they're actually going to go back safely.
1 meter, 630 centimeters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, they would have been allowed to just die on deck, but there's plenty of life left in her. She's away. I really hope she's never caught and turned into shark fin soup, and that she lives to be a ripe old age. Now, angling's not for me, but it was certainly an interesting day. To Tomorrow, it's time for some cutting-edge science. Another day, another boat, another skipper. So does Pat Condon have any special ingredients? That's smelling lovely.
Very good.
What's in that?
There's fish, mainly mackerel, fish oil, and bran. And mixed together, the bran soaks up all of the oil and the juices and leaves it off slowly. Good rubber-dubby is essential.
Also on board today are two marine biologists from University College Cork, Tom Doyle and Luke Harman. And they brought along some really fancy tags that can communicate with space.
First of all, both of these tags are satellite tags, and they both communicate with satellites overhead. But the difference is that this tag is called a pop-off tag, but it's designed for attaching to fish that may not come to the surface. So the idea of this tag is you attach this to a shark, and then in 70 days, this connection will be broken and then float up to the surface. And so then send all the data that is collected back to our computers. So this is a pressure sensor here.
So that can basically pick up how deep the shark is.
Yep. Essentially, this tag records if it's at the surface, or if it's at 100 metres, 200 metres, 300 metres. So it records its dive behaviour. But it also records temperature, so it records the temperature of the water that it's swimming in. But what's clever about this tag is that it also records sunrise and sunset. So over here, what we have is a light sensor that gives us light levels. And from that information, we can determine the longitude, but also from temperature, we can determine latitude. So from that, once we get all the data back, we can run it through some algorithms back at home, and we can actually figure out where it swam.
Is this an expensive bit of kit?
Very expensive, yeah. You're probably looking at €3,500.
£3,500. And so what's this other one then?
But what this is called a spot tag, smart position only tag. So this will give us position in real time.
Okay.
If the animal comes to the surface. So we'll attach this tag to the dorsal fin, and then anytime the shark breaks the surface, that will actually transmit a signal up to the satellite system and then relay it to us.
So how does this tag know that it's broken the surface?
Well, it has two contacts. Once there's water flowing over these, there's a circuit, and the tag knows that it's on the water. But the minute the tag breaks the surface of the water, that circuit is broken, and then it knows that it's on the surface, and it will transmit.
So it must transmit very quickly?
Yeah. It's almost instant.
Okay, amazing. I guess all that remains now is that we just have to catch a shark. That can be easier said than done, I guess. Conditions good?
Luke's the man.
Luke's the man. Now, Luke is experimenting with a very different kind of hook. So I noticed that the kind of hooks that you have on that mackerel don't look to me like a standard hook. Like, that's what I think of as a normal fishing hook. But the ones you're using are different.
Yes, we're experimenting there with what they call a circle hook. The J hook can deep hook fish and hook fish anywhere, whether it be in the side of the mouth, further down into the guts or down into the stomach. The circle hook, however, stops the hook actually embedding deep in the fish, and only when the hook is pulled out towards the mouth of the fish, the hook actually then turns on itself and then embeds in the fish.
I see.
So they highly reduce the amount of deep gut-hooked fish.
I suppose the least injury you can do to the fish, the better. So if you just catch them at the side of the mouth, unhook them cleanly, you'll get them back as quickly as you can.
Definitely, if they're hooked in the mouth, you can unhook them quicker, release them quicker, obviously improving the likelihood of that fish going back and surviving.
So I noticed too, you've even taken the little barb off. You filed it off?
Yes, once these hooks are in, they're very difficult to get out, especially with the barb. So we've actually filed the barb off of this hook as well. So it should make life significantly easier as well.
So it looks like everything's in place. Now the sharks just have to turn up, or all this will be in vain. So when the shark comes into the boat, what exactly are you going to do with it?
Luke will take the hook out of its mouth. Then we have a hose. We're going to put that in its mouth so that it has water flowing through its gills so they can get oxygen. Then we'll actually measure it. So we get some really important measurements, and we'll sex the animal, more than likely be a juvenile female. And then once we've done that, we'll size it up, whether it's big enough to take the satellite tags.
I'm going to get myself organised just in case. I wonder. Or maybe just dolphins knocking the line. Oh, that's a shark.
Always happens when you make a cup of tea.
It's no surprise that Pat's the one that's hooked it. He's on the Irish angling team and he really knows what he's doing.
That's a good one.
It's actually coming up easy enough. I'm gonna have to be quick. It's coming in a lot faster than I expected. Looks like it's gonna be just a little one. Don't know if it's gonna be big enough for Tom's purposes.
Well, only small. Well, 18. Yeah, 118.
140. Just turn her over. Look. Turn the water on now.
Now the water's a great idea. It's going to keep the shark happy. It means that oxygen will constantly be flowing over its gills and so it's not struggling.
That's everything.
She is only a little one. Lots of life in her though. She's gonna be just fine.
118, 140.
118, 140.
Female.
Female, yeah. Right, we need a bigger shark for the next tag.
No pressure. One. Yeah, great.
How was that?
Ah, that was great. Yeah.
I didn't see it. It's not easy, you know, it's quite bouncy. It doesn't look it from here, but when you're in the water, it's bouncy.
Next one. Next one.
What sort of size was it?
She was on the small size. Definitely on the small size.
But big enough.
But big enough. Oh, absolutely big enough for the tag. No worries there.
I'd like to have seen her.
I could show you a set of shark jaws.
Oh, really?
So,
Have you
yeah,
got some
Yeah,
ready?
we'll bring them in, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'd like- Maybe it's the only shark I'm going to get to see today. Little jaw. Oh. Look at that. That's
There we go.
from a blue shark?
This is a blue shark, yeah. So you
Amazing.
just be careful with the teeth. They're still very sharp.
It's light.
Yeah. Cartilage.
Of course, it's not bone.
Yeah.
Because there's no bone in sharks, eh?
I guess one of the really striking things about shark teeth is this conveyor belt replacement of teeth. So you can imagine these bottom teeth here. What happens is the teeth move forward and eventually the outer ones fall off and so they're replaced. You can see all these layers that are just coming through.
So when these ones fall out, the next ones come up. Are there more then forming
Yeah.
under that?
Yeah.
So they just keep
keep going.
coming.
Yeah, keep going. But in a blue shark and a lot of sharks, there's quite a bit of variation between the top and the bottom teeth. So you can see the top teeth are very dagger-like and they've got these serrated edges on them.
Yeah.
Whereas the bottom teeth are very straight, very pointed, and this has a lot to do with their prey as well. So you can see these bottom teeth, how capturing the squid, they'd be fantastic for something like that, whereas the top teeth would be more functionally for cutting.
And now, what sort of size shark would that be in terms of, you know, is that like an adult shark or is that
About an adult, I say, yeah.
Okay. Because I was just wondering, you know, if I was swimming around out there in the rubby-dubby trail, it was sort of, you know, that'd be all right. But my hand to go in nicely.
Yeah.
And powerful jaws, eh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Another shark. And it's Pat again.
Are we getting close?
Now I've got to get some decent shots of the guys who'll be giving me a hard time. Definitely more of a struggle.
There it is. You see him?
This looks to be a bigger one.
Wrapped up again.
Ooh, a lot bigger. That's one feisty looking shark. That's a good sign.
Boy, it's a boy.
Boy and woodlout.
That's just the kind of animal they were looking for. Gonna have to be careful because this is a powerful animal and those jaws, those teeth could do some serious damage.
Fork length,
167. Fork length. 167.
total length,
Total length 205.
205. And the girth,
62 centimetres girth.
Male shark, that's a real stroke of luck, and it's big enough to get that tag on. That's the important thing.
The whole thing in, so we won't.
This tag will only work if those dorsal fins break the surface.
Yep.
It's a male shark. This is really unusual. Normally it's females. It's a really good size, and we're really happy with the tag attachment there. Beautiful animal. Really, really fantastic animal now.
1 minute.
Safely back in the water. Oh, bit close. Don't want to end up with a bite myself.
3.
And freedom. Now I wonder what messages he's going to send back.
Job done.
Job done. Oh man.
Yep.
Nice shark, Tom.
Fantastic shark. Yeah, and it was a male. So
Oh, it's a male.
yeah. So really exciting. Also, he was in great shape. He wasn't deep tucked or anything. So he calmed down as soon as we had the hose in his mouth. So we know he's happy out, and off he swam.
So to catch a nice big male, that must be exciting.
That's it. We've got a satellite tag on, and as soon as he breaks the surface, we'll get a signal. We'll get a transmission, and it'll be brilliant. We'll be able to see some real-time movements of blue sharks in off Cork here. It'll be brilliant. Fantastic.
The rest is up to the shark. Perfect male shark, we know very little about them. But of course, to get any sort of information, he's got to come to the surface. And there's no guarantee he's going to do that anytime soon. Three months later, and I've met up with Luke and Tom at University College Cork. Results are in, and this has worked far beyond their wildest dreams. The male is still on the move and sending back signals every day.
It seems from looking at that he's been sending back signals all the time, so far better than you would have possibly expected, far better than I expected.
Well, he went on quite a remarkable journey. We tagged him, and then 2 days later, we got the first location, and that was really exciting. But since then, he travelled over 2,500 kilometres in 48 days. He headed south, crossed the Bay of Biscay, and basically took a beeline then for the Moroccan waters. He's actually spent about 4 or 5 weeks in there. One reason may be there's lots of food there, but whether it's food or whether it's ladies, because of his age, we think he's maybe 5 or 6. He might just be immature still, so it's probably feeding, but we're not sure.
And the little female has sent back her data too. She hasn't gone so far.
As programmed, it popped off and revealed that she was just off the coast of France, just in this region here. We have no idea exactly where she went between leaving Cork and there until we analysed the data.
And of course, that tag gave you different bits of information that was telling you about her dive behaviour.
Initially, results are showing about 40 to 50% of her time was spent in the top 10 metres of water. So it's an amazing amount of time right in the surface waters, more than we'd ever really thought would be possible. 2 different tags, but 2 sets of great results. So although it's just a small-scale pilot study, we've proven the concept, the tags work well. I mean, we couldn't have hoped for better data.
What we'd love to do is put on 20 tags, and then we'd learn a lot more about the ecology of these species. Is this like a migration route between Morocco and Ireland? Or perhaps maybe we put 20 tags on and they all do different things, and that has huge implications for conservation, if they're all doing different things or if they're all doing the same thing.
All you need now is a whole load more tags. Maybe next year, eh?
If you'd like to find out more about blue sharks and the work of the research team, check out our website or find us on Facebook. Next week, I'm looking for banshees.